I'm halfway through a 31-day challenge I set for myself to roll 1,000 times. And I gotta start over. Not from zero, but from a different mindset. I finally, after 500 rolls, understand enough of what's going on that I see some bad habits, and I gotta go back and fix those. I did not expect this to happen. I thought I'd be in a completely different place here at the halfway point looking at the end of this challenge. But here we are. I can't ignore it. I've got to go back and fix it. So stick around to find out how I got to this point, to see if I get to my 1,000 rolls, and to see what happens to me in this cloud of black flies that is starting to nip and bite at me. Okay, well, let's go get upside down. Welcome to my practice lake. This is the closest fresh body of water to my house, and it's where I come to play and practice and not worry about tides or weather or conditions on the ocean. I come here. While the goal is 1,000 rolls in 31 days, averaging 33 rolls a day, I didn't put a lot of constraints into the type of roll. I'm going to start with the Greenland roll that I have, which is my left-handed standard Greenland roll with an extended paddle. Once I get that a little bit more comfortable, I'm going to switch to my right-handed extended paddle Greenland roll, which will happen on the opposite side of the boat. From there, I'm going to slowly choke up on the paddle. I'm going to return to a normal paddling position so I don't have to do either of those rolls on either side extended. Now, when I get to that point, not if, but when I get to that point, I am then going to transfer to learning my storm roll. This is a forward finishing roll, where the standard Greenland roll is an aft finishing roll. And the idea here is that finishing forward is a much more active and dynamic position as a paddler if you're in conditions to be able to be ready for what comes on next, facing forward and upright instead of lying back on the deck and not being in a paddle position ready to navigate the next wave. All right, it's been enough blabbering. I am ready to start rolling. So I'm going to get over to my cove and I'm going to get the storm hood on and the neoprene gloves on because it's May 1st and this is not warm, and start getting this thing going. Okay, here we go. All right, that was roll number 1. I forgot to press record, so you didn't see it. So, sorry, but it happened. It was messy. We got a lot of work to do. So let's keep at it. Okay, first 5 done. 995 to go. My shoulders are not staying parallel to the water. My left shoulder is diving. My hand is pulling away from my shoulder when I'm trying to rotate. I got a lot to work on. I'm also getting that thing when you roll a lot that start to lose your equilibrium. Everything feels a little washy, which is one of the reasons I only chose to do about 33 rolls a day. If I tried to bang out 1,000 rolls in like a couple of weekends, I think I would hate my life. So even now, 33 feels optimistic today, but 5 done. Okay, I made it to 23 rolls today. and 3 swims, and I think I'm hitting a point of diminishing return. My head is a little swimmy. Nothing's really making a lot of sense anymore. So instead of pushing and getting frustrated, I'm going to end here and count this as 23. So didn't quite hit my goal. Kind of expected that early on. I'd have a little harder time early on, but we got some to make up. Day 2 is in the books, and this whole thing's going to be a lot harder than I expected. It's really the nauseous, woozy feeling after a handful of rolls that I'm getting. And the thought of getting to 1,000 right now seems like a long way away. I broke things down today and started with a paddle float to do some practice with back deck recovery, and that helped. And then I'm also just starting to notice more awareness in my body. I'm starting to get more awareness in my shoulders, more awareness of what my paddle's doing. Instead of just hoping for the best, I'm able to feel those things and line things up. So yeah, day 2's done. We'll see what day 3 brings. I'm driving to day 3, and I have a reflection that came to me last night, well after I got off the water, that I'm going to completely forget if I don't share now. And that's, if I had a positive mindset going in to my roll before I capsized, thinking, I'm going to get this one, everything felt smoother. I didn't fail any rolls yesterday, but a couple of them felt a little rocky. But if I could set up and think, I got this, I'm going to roll, that felt like some percentage of the roll. I don't know the percentage, like 20% of the roll is the mindset of your success going into it. A friend is letting me borrow his boat for a few weeks, so I'm excited to see how this thing performs and behaves on the water. Day 3, 7 rolls so far, 2 swims. I think adding the boat was a level of complexity that I might have been not totally ready for. It rolls a little different than my Explorer. Today is the first early morning and I am not feeling it. At least it's not raining. That helps. More body awareness is giving me a better sense of what's going on, and a marker that I found today was keeping my elbow on my control hand close to my body instead of flying out, keeping that chicken wing in and keeping that elbow in. And that's really helping me stay compact and finish the roll. It feels a lot more solid today finishing the roll. Just wrapped day 6 and 33 rolls. It's a raw, gross day. I think the water temperature is warmer than the air temperature, and the water temperature is not warm. The worst parts of this 31-day journey so far are getting up early and getting here. And the first roll, really, that first face splash kind of sucks. After that, it's all the same and it doesn't feel any worse or different. But I noticed that first splash feels a little bit gross. Trying to unpack what my head's doing a little bit, trying to have my eyes, noticing where my eyes are when I finish my roll. Are my eyes looking up at the sky or down towards my paddle? I'm also trying to figure out, where's my hand placing at the end of the roll? Are my hands really far away from my chest? Are they at my chest? Noticing a little bit of the camera on, performing for the camera versus when the camera's off. I feel a lot more relaxed. So that's really interesting. I just need to continue to play with that relaxation. I think I want to make this perfect, and I want all of these rolls to look good, and they're just not going to. Most of them look like crap right now. But that's the point, that hopefully by the end of it, they do look good. Okay, it's day 7 and I have 3 goals. 1, slow things way down. I think I've been rushing my rolls. In fact, I know I've been rushing my rolls. I want to slow them down, take a little bit more time today, and try to link things up. 2, I want to hit 250 rolls by the end of today. That's over my budget, and I feel like that sets me up really well for the next week. 3, I'm going to start playing with my other side roll today, my right hand roll, right hand control hand roll. And I'm not fully sure what to expect. It's going to be an interesting journey moving into the next week of starting to build that other side up. Let's see how it goes. Okay, extended Standard Greenland Roll on the other side. The first time I got it, it felt weird. It felt like I forgot how to tie my shoes. Everything, yeah, I was just kind of going off instincts there, but I got it. Roll number 1 on the other side. Okay, let's start building that one up. I'm noticing some big shifts to my motivation from day 1 to day 7. The first big shift came in me understanding why I'm doing this. There was a day in the middle of the week last week where it was just rainy and gross. I had to get up super early and I wasn't feeling it. So I had to really dig into what's my why? Why am I doing this? Why am I out here? And I was able to just kind of settle back into my goal of improving my roll and putting in time and making that commitment to myself instead of just making check marks on boxes of number of rolls complete to actually lead to something. So that motivation has deepened and it was easy to lose track of a little bit, but I've come back to it. I've come back to that reason for why I'm doing it. I also noticed a shift over the past week around moving from quantity to quality. And I'm really aware that if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to get up early in the morning or go out to the lake after work or find these pockets in my day to do this effort to get out there and to get into the cold water and to do all of this, then they may as well be the best rolls I can make them. It's not just about 1,000 rolls in these 31 days. It's about 1,000 quality rolls in these 31 days that I hope that mind shift and that shift in my attitude is going to result in more learning and more growth and a stronger role at the other side of it. There are 2 internal narratives occupying quite a bit of space in my mind right now around this entire project. The first is just being aware of not wanting to get off the water every day and just give you a report, to try to give you a little bit more than that, because I think it's going to be pretty boring for me just saying like day 1 I did 32 rolls and this was the outcome, and I don't know, I wouldn't want to watch that for 31 days, and I can imagine you probably don't want to watch that for 31 days. So I'm a little I'm a little in my head right now about the story that I want to tell and the story that's going to come out. And I think it's partially because I don't know the full story yet. I'm in the middle of the ocean and I can't see the shore. So that's something I'm going to continue to hold lightly and try to give you what I'm going through instead of just what I'm doing every day. The second narrative that I'm holding in my brain, and I'm sharing this really vulnerably, is I'm really nervous about sharing all of my crappy rolls with you. I'm really nervous that what I'm going to hear is all the ways I suck, or all the ways I'm not doing something right, or I should do this, or what's your head doing? And I'm not professing to be an amazing Greenland roller. Not yet anyway. But I'm getting to that. But I notice in that process, I'm really nervous about showing you my dirty laundry. I'm really nervous about showing you my imperfection. And showing you the failures, or showing you the messy roll where my hand is pulling way away from my body. I got to get over that. That's not why I'm here, but I guess I just know that the internet is such a tricky space for that. And I'm putting myself out vulnerably, and I realize I'm not fully comfortable with that yet. And I'm just going to move ahead with that tension and continue to put these out. Going back to that point that this is not about perfection. Nothing of what I'm doing over this next 31 days is mainly about perfection. It's about me getting better at something. So I'm going to mark some week 1 wins. I showed up, and I was able to show up all 7 days. And that's not necessarily the goal. That's just helping me to not have to do 90 rolls in one day, to try to do a little bit every day. Another win I'm going to take here at the end of week 1 is that I'm ahead on my rolls. I'm ending week 1 at 250 rolls. The goal would have been 231, but I'm delighted that I was able to get to what felt like a meaningful number, 250 rolls here at the end of week 1. Looking ahead to week 2, I'm going to put some loose goals in around building up the right-hand side extended paddle roll, and then through the end of the week, choking up on the paddle so I'm in a more standard paddling position and trying to do the roll on both sides without extending. I think those are going to be, I think it's going to be a stretch goal to get there, to get to that point, to do the non-extended roll on both sides. It feels just far enough to feel like we'll see if we get there. But I think if I can, it's going to set me up really well for the last half of this challenge. Okay, well, hope this has been helpful so far. Hope you've enjoyed being part of the process, and let's see what week 2 brings. I don't know if you can tell, but I am getting swarmed by bugs. I swallowed one as I was taking a breath in a roll. 33 rolls and 1 swim here on day 9. Came after work today, and I gotta say, my mind is just full. I feel like I've just been rushing from wrapping up work to getting out of the house to getting here to getting on the water. I felt it in my rolls today, like the rolls are a reflection of your mental state, and they didn't feel very calm or spacious or playful today. They felt very frenetic and rushed. So slow things down. It's a good thing to remember. Well, that was a cold and raw day 10. And it's a shame. This is the first day in 10 days that I haven't had to rush off the water. So I had more time to be here. And although it's raining, I took advantage of it. I got to 46 rolls today, which feels really good. I tried to slow down a whole lot more today, just trying to continue to clear my mind and slow down and just focus on the movements. And I noticed my head today more than other days, and trying to keep my head in the water longer, not letting it pop out too soon. And it's amazing how much that helps you in the last third or quarter of the roll. All right, friends. Well, that's it for me. I'm gonna go get dry. See you tomorrow. Day 11, and it's the first sunny day, and I am so grateful for that. It's warm, it feels amazing. It only took 11 days. These are the types of days I thought I would have when I started this challenge, but that hasn't been the case. It took 11 days to get some sun. On day 11 here, I'm switching side for side, and that feels really good. One roll on one side, one roll on the other. And I've got my mind on the middle of this journey and thinking a little bit about where I want to be in the middle of this experience and how I want to set myself up for the end if I do want to transition and start moving into that forward finish storm roll. I got some work to do for that. So thinking about that, I think what it means for the remainder of this week is starting to choke up on that paddle and moving from an extended roll to a standard paddling position roll. That confidence going in is so big, and it strikes me because I've suffered recently from just some self-esteem things of just feeling my own inadequacies, the false stories I'm telling myself. And the lesson I'm getting out of this is going in knowing you're going to do it, right? Going in being confident to something instead of letting that self-doubt flavor what's going to happen just has such an impact. Another little lesson there from the kayak to our life. Day 13 and 50 rolls. It was actually fun today. I'm starting to have a blast out here. It's not taking me as long to reset and regroup for my rolls. I'm able to get a lot more out, and it's nice. I'm not even wearing gloves today. That's how amazing it is out here today. Oh, I will take it. I love it. Starting to get close to the center of the paddle. I think within the next day or so, I'm just going to be doing a normal paddle position, paddle grip, and that roll. And yeah, I gotta start thinking about the next roll. I gotta start thinking about the storm roll. I gotta remember what that is. I got a little research to do tonight. All right, I'm gonna go do that. Catch you later. But the past couple of days, particularly when I've started to move from an extended paddle towards a normal grip paddle with my roll, that I realized that I was basically just doing a hybrid of my Euroblade sweep roll, but with the Greenland paddle. And as I started to look ahead at moving on to different parts of the storm roll, I realized that I had not really done the standard Greenland roll. I am in no way finishing on my back deck looking up at the sky. I'm finishing a lot more upright, looking down at my paddle. So I gotta go back. I gotta start things from scratch again. And while I'm not erasing those 500 rolls, I'm shifting my mindset to go back to the beginning and start from there. The black flies are relentless. Just get in your eyes and stick on your face and swallow a few of them when you take a breath to capsize. Well, that was an absolutely fantastic day. I've been chasing something, I realize, over the past 2 weeks with that roll. And it's that sense of, I've been calling it slowing down. I've wanted to slow down the roll, but what I really think it is an effortlessness. When that roll comes together, your boat just comes upright and you find yourself above water without a lot of force or energy. And today was that shift to technique. Feels great. The black flies have taken the day off and given it to the mosquitoes. They're super thick today. Okay, let's get underwater. There it is. One really gross storm roll. Day 16, the first day I really started to work on the storm roll. The new position is throwing me a bit, rolling from a closed hip from leaning forward, as opposed to an open hip. Yeah, okay, well, this is part of it. This is when the work starts. This has been a week of real highs and real lows. I've had high points of feeling like I was transitioning smoothly from my standard Greenland roll, from an extended position to a more standard paddling position, to then realizing that my standard roll technique was not what it needed to be and going back to scratch, to another high of feeling like, oh, that came together really quickly when I went back and actually put in the technique I needed to. And then some real low moments in the morning of just feeling exhausted and feeling it's all a little too much and not wanting to get out on the water. Now, one of my goals in this 31-day challenge was to get my standard roll, but from a normal paddling position. And I'm not going to do that. I'm making an executive decision, and that is no longer one of my goals. And I realized that I didn't want to spend much time there because I don't want my standard roll to be my go-to roll. I want my storm roll to be my go-to roll. And looking ahead and looking at where I am, that just doesn't make a lot of sense right now to overly invest time in that aspect of a standard Greenland roll. Okay, some baby steps today. I'm running out of time and I'm only 15 rolls in. So I'm gonna switch over and just do some really beautiful, slow, clean as I can, standard Greenland rolls just to get the roll count up a little bit. Yeah, because I gotta get off the water. I'm still weighting my pry hand too much, but I'm starting to figure out the head body rotation. I'm really just trying to like look up at the sky when I'm capsized and then make my head and my water knee meet, trying to really roll down and make those two meet to affect the roll and the movement of the boat. Day 19, and we hit a bit of a snag. I forgot the shoes I wear with my dry suit, and I can't come up with a way of getting in the lake that's either not going to have me lose a shoe or destroy the bottom of my dry suit socks. So 0 rolls today. Maybe it's a good thing. I'm feeling a little body sore. I think incorporating the new continuous roll into the mix is creating a little tenderness in my shoulders. I know my pry hand is working too hard and it's in an unprotected position. So I'm gonna be really careful of that to not have a shoulder injury from this experience. The skills are really coming together on this whole journey. I'm way more aware of what my head is doing in the water and how much my head affects the quality and effortlessness of my roll. Pulling your head out of the water too early counteracts what the boat is trying to do, and you just end up capsizing yourself. A lot more awareness of that. More so than from when just Euro blade rolling. I find Greenland rolling, you've got to be a lot more precise. There's a lot smaller margin of error with a Greenland paddle. That with a Euro blade, I think you can make up for a lot of things with the surface area of the blade and with muscle. And you can't quite do that with Greenland rolling, in my experience. You need a lot more finesse. I'm also doing a lot with rotating and twisting my body and getting a lot more awareness of what the twist of my body is doing. And it was interesting. I had an awareness the other day that my body is the thing rolling and not the boat. And that may seem obvious. Like, of course, the boat just isn't going to roll. Your body has to do it. But when I can think of my body doing that twist or that rolling motion, the boat follows and I'm upright. That awareness has really helped me in my standard roll, as well as trying to help me understand the mechanics of the storm roll. That was an interesting thing to unlock. I also think over the past 2 weeks, I've gotten a lot of awareness of paddle position. When I first started this, my paddle was any number of places, and most of them unhelpful. Far away from my body, diving, hands moving in directions that don't help me come upright. I have been able to really lock my hands to my torso and my pivot hand to my shoulder and my sweep hand to my shoulder as well. They're still a little low, I find. I'm still a little bit lower on my sternum than I want to be. So I'm working on bringing that up a little bit higher. And the more I do that, the more effortless everything is feeling. I'm sure I could have progressed a lot faster working with a coach. They would have seen things, they would have been able to point out things. They're small, like, oh, try this, or those the phrases that coaches have developed and uses that just lock into your brain would have helped. I'm now building most of those up to a degree on my own. And I'm sure at some point I will work with a coach to really refine these roles and see the things that I just can't see from this level of my development. But that really wasn't the purpose of this whole experiment and this whole 31-day challenge. It was to see, what can I do? What happens when we put ourselves in a position to really learn and explore and grow through not knowing how to do something or not knowing how to do it well to, I won't say excellence, but a degree of competency. I don't fully know where it's going to end. I'm having a hard time seeing how far down that progression I'm going to get in the next 12 days. I'm feeling pretty good with the number of rolls I have at this point, but I do have a long way to go. At 643 rolls in, I've got some rolls that I've got some rolls still left in there. And what I don't want to do is get to a point where I've got 150 rolls to do in a day. I notice after about like 35 rolls, I just hit a point of diminishing returns, that I'm exhausted, that the technique isn't there, that the rolls aren't coming out, and I'm just doing them sloppily instead of doing them with intention and with a degree of skill. This has been a new format, and I'm interested to hear what you think. I haven't done a thing like this. Normally I'm out on the ocean exploring this coastline, going on adventures, kayak camping, offering tips and tricks and techniques out on the open ocean. And this has been See Steve roll on a lake, not See Steve see kayak. So I'm interested to know what you think of that format. I've got more footage up to these 19 days than I typically have in a couple episodes of shooting. I'm a little bit aware that I think this is probably a good natural place to end this episode and have you join me in the next episode to see where this whole adventure lands. Do I get my storm roll? How far do I get in my storm roll? Do I get 1,000 rolls? Do I forget my dry suit shoes again? I'd really love to know if there's anything that I've experienced over the past 18 days that have been particularly insightful for you. If you do want to see Steve see kayak, I am out on the ocean on all my other episodes. I'm exploring the coastline. I'm offering tips and techniques of sea kayaking. I've got kayak camping episodes. I hope you go over there and check those episodes out and tell me what you think of those. All right, friends. Well, as always, I hope you enjoy your adventures, whatever they are. And until next time, safe rolling, safe paddling. Goodbye, friends.